Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, the President. Otwa.
Roto zwavhuḓi ri vhudzisa vhone vhashavhi.
Hey, coffee sapa.
Nṋe ndi tshi vhona vhashavhi ndi tou pfa ndo takala nga maanḓa.
The higher. Nda. President, with all those complications of the NHI, the EFF once put a bill here in 2018
Okay.
that let's open clinics for 24 hours. And unfortunately, the ANC rejected that. Our people cannot wait for postponement of the implementation of the NHI because they are sick now. They are not going to be sick in 2030. So we must be seen to be doing something now. Our people want clinics and health facilities that are in good condition, not a bread per house. People instead of implementing what is going to change the lives of our people, they are buying them with bread and not implementing what is going to change the lives of our people. Now that, President, you have been exposed to this, and especially George Mukari and many other facilities, Chelidzini and everywhere else, are you going to support a proposal of the EFF that says, let the clinics be opened 24 hours, let the clinics be serviced and renovated and improved while we're still working on this long term? You just said to yourself, it is in phases, it's complex, it's difficult. Worse, it has been taken to court. They can't take us to court for upgrading our own facilities. Some of them are there. So let's work on them now and make sure we improve the conditions and stop giving people bread in exchange for vote, but give them what will change their lives for better. Thanks very much.
The Honourable President.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Honourable Malema, you'll be pleased to know, maybe for the very first time, that I agree with you. Ke a dumelana le wena. Now, I think it's really ideal, and what you're articulating is what I've come across as I go around the country, particularly in the deep rural areas. People say, we would like the clinics to remain open and on a 24-hour basis, because when our people are sick, where do they run to? They have to go to big cities and all that. I agree with that. Now, the issue is there must be personnel in those clinics. You've got to have nurses, and ideally you've got to have a doctor on standby. Now, yes, we can agree that ideally we want those clinics to be open. And I don't think, Honorable Malema, it even needs a law. It should not even need legislation. It should just require regulations from the Department of Health and how those regulations should be implemented. Because when you have a clinic open, you cannot have an empty building open. You must have those people or professionals who must serve. Now, this is where our challenge from a fiscal point of view is. We have not, and Minister of Finance dealt with the matter here in October, we have not been able to employ doctors, enough doctors. And wherever we go, we often meet young people who have said, you have invested a lot of money in me, in training me for 7 years and thereafter 2 years, but I don't get a job. And that is a fiscal challenge and problem, which we are in the process of resolving. So those clinics ideally should be open with nurses there and a doctor on standby, on call rather. So that is supported, and it's a process that will be implemented as we move on, as available resources become easily available for us to be able to pay them. There are quite a number of young people who say, I've wanted to be a nurse for a long time, but I see that there are no jobs that are open. So we therefore need to train those nurses, make them available, and have them in those clinics. So I agree with you, and without saying it's conditional, I would say that it's something that, as you have raised it prominently as well, that I would like us to attend to. And so, because this is such a positive parliament, positive National Assembly, it is something that will pass on to the minister so that we can look at it closely. So, upasitse proposal ya hao e amogetšwe, o ka kry-a le certificate. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thanks, Chairperson. Deputy Speaker. President, ya hore nna le lena re kwana la mathomo batho ba mo South Africa ba tla makala ka hore o na le tše dintši tše re kwaneng ka tšona le tša go fitha le gana molemeng re kwana ka tšona jalo e le ka re mathomo re kwana ba re ba bona di thomile di-politician a di bolele nnete. President, a bona fiscal problem. Auditor General of South Africa says 406 billion is being spent on corruption and irregular spending. If you redirect that money, you give us the best health facilities. There is no shortage of human capital. Bana ba borena ba tletše di strata, di doctor di a matcha, ba apere di gown, ba ra bana mebereko. And therefore, re na le fiscal problem ya ba patela. Eba ka mokgwa mongwe because tšhelete she e gona. We need to stop corruption and redirect this money and invest in our proper public health system. So
Thank
one
you,
of the things we have put
Malema.
forward
Your
is the
time has
bill
expired.
on insourcing to deal with this problem. I hope the President will support us to pass a bill on insourcing of all government workers who are temporary workers. Thank
Honourable
you.
Malema. Honourable President.
Thank you, Honorable Malema. You know, I spoke about the problem of outsourcing. And when I heard you speak about it, I said, oh, Malema is agreeing with me now. The problem of outsourcing, which I think many of us, even in this parliament, have realized is a major problem that we need to reverse and to arrest rather. We've tended to, and arrest I think, we have tended to outsource so many functions that should belong in the hospital, functions that should belong in the department. I've even asked the Minister of Health, Minister Akumput, if we have to buy tablets, Panado, why do we need to go to someone else? Or regular Panado? When we know who makes Panado, that firm or entity must provide us with Panado. And if we have to do a tender or a procurement process, we can do it directly. And the minister answered and said, this is complex and all that. And I'd like to say that we need to outsource what government cannot do itself. Many functions we can do ourselves and cheaply and cost effectively. That is precisely what we now need to do. Now I have said, I've declared war on outsourcing. Let us insource as much as we possibly can in government. And you know, the benefit of that is that it increases the capacity of government. It enables people to want to come and work in government, particularly young people. We train them to be experts, and then we leave them outside of government. We must train them to be experts to come and work in government and do the work that needs to be done in government. And this is now a growing phenomenon around the world. Many governments are realizing that insourcing is far better. There is a book written by Professor Mariana Mazzucato who reports that The US and the UK outsourced their functions during COVID, and they lost a lot of money. And yet, if they had insourced, like much of what we did here, they would not have. What we did do incorrectly, ourselves, to be critical of myself and us, is that we outsourced the acquisition of the personal PEPs. We outsourced that. And that resulted in major challenges of corruption in our country. And yet we did insource the vaccines. That we handled very well, because only government acquired vaccines and distributed them as it did through the various hospitals and clinics. So there's a great argument to be made for insourcing. Sometimes we find we insource even, the work that should be done in the garden. Me o cleanang o hirwa ke batho ba bang, a tlo clean, and then ha kweshe the benefits, and after 3 months wa rakiwa, she's out of a job, and yet she's working for a government institution. We do need to give respect to our people by giving them decent jobs. Outsourcing does not result in decent jobs. Therefore, insourcing is the best way to go. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
President, I've got a membership form for you.
Honourable